brief summary of what we did yesterday. We went into the dungeon, got some intelligence. We still have a ring slot that doesn't do anything. We have a amulet slot that doesn't really do anything. We have prevent confusion from the battle axe. It's not a great solution. I would rather be aware of monsters that confuse me and defeat them or send them away before they have a chance to confuse me. And I would like to replace this with something that gives me a bonus to intelligence. We do not have an armor, but we have a shield of resistance. And one important thing to note is don't make the mistake of having an armor of resistance and a shield of resistance, because you're just having stuff that weights more. You really do not need that. We don't have a helm of intelligence. The boots are kind of useless. I can probably throw them away and save these £2 over here. We did get a little bit of a boost of intelligence. Again, I can happily lose even a point of strength here to get another potion of intellect to raise my intelligence. We're still fairly shallow around level 27. We do have 2 lights, both of which are really good. We can probably go down to about dungeon level 32 and start looking for potions of strength, potions of constitution, a couple of other nice things that happen. We still do not have a ring of escaping. The ring of escaping has an additional great feature, which I'll discuss once I get it. Really, there is not a lot specific to do, but just go down. Don't risk in any way. Don't do anything risky whatsoever unless you have a great payoff and get some more stuff. I've changed the text file to show some of the things that we need. It would be useful to have 3 or 4 at least potions of mana. Potions of mana is something that generally you finish the game with about 20 or 30 of them, so they stack up pretty easily. The same for healing. They're good to have. We do already have a good bunch of cure critical wounds. We only have 4 or 5 potions of haste. They're of speed. This is not a problem because we can cast haste. Now, we will have a very high fail rate on haste. It's currently at 41%. Remember that the random number generator in Angband lies. So all these things, to get a few more of them would make me happier before I go down. It would be very nice to have a rod of mapping. We already have a rod of treasure. This is good when you're just looking for stuff. And we probably need about 7 more scrolls of deep descent. If I do not find them in this exploration that I'm going to do, I may do a little trick, which is just to go down into the dungeon like that, because scrolls of deep descent happen the most often between dungeon level 1 and dungeon level 5. They are really, really, really shallow. And I right now have a rod of treasure location, and also there's nothing that can hurt me in any way here, so I can just use teleport without worrying at all and drive around, kill the monsters. I can even melee the monsters and kill them, so really no risk whatsoever for me to go look for random stuff. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down to dungeon level 30. Just once again, if I find any situation that is interesting, I'm going to save it. These monsters don't even pay anything that's worth looking at. I'll catch up with you later today. I'll have another few levels done, and maybe we can prepare to do the big jump. Well, it's been about 15 minutes since that previous snippet. I have found a new potion of intellect. I have also found 2 potions of mana, one on the floor and one in the black market. And I have found 4 scrolls of deep descent, because I briefly went into dungeon. I went from dungeon level 1 to dungeon level 5, and then I went back up from dungeon level 5 to dungeon level 1. The total, I got 4 of them. We can always use the information, check knowledge, and check contents of home. We now have 10 scrolls of deep descent. This is 50 levels of dungeon. We could use 2 or 3 more. We'll probably find them without needing to do anything too dramatic. I just wanted to show you what happens when you have 108 hit points, 26 intelligence, spell points. We drink the potion of intellect. I lost a point of strength. Strength sucks because it slows me down. But we went from 26 to 51. This is a good dice roll. And our spell points jumped to 146. The haste has gone down by 9%. It will once again go up once we wear the ring of escaping, but I promise you it's still worth it. We found the vault. We're on dungeon level 31. I did pick up a White Dragon Scale Mail. The reason is that these things, aside from the fact they're worth about 2,000 gold, you can activate them for a blast of ice. They're kind of convenient, but I think I might as well just throw it out. I have a Cutlass of Slay Giant. I'm just going to see if this has anything else. It gives me free action. I don't need it. I'm going to drop this. Drop the Staff of Teleportation, £5. Drop the White Dragon Scale Mail. And I am still a little bit overweight. Remember that I have a bonus of +2 from the bow. But I do move more freely right now. I was on the other side of the map and found the vault, but there was still no level feeling, so I jumped to the other side of the vault, the map, to open up, light some dungeon. The more part of the dungeon is lit up, the easier your level feeling will come. I see it's a 7/6, so I'm going to go and see if there's anything that's actually useful here. This mob is a unique. It is not particularly difficult to kill, but there's a little payoff. I will much rather kill him after dungeon level 60, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Let's see if I can get an idea of what this is from the shape. Okay, this is, as you can see, obviously this is a straight line, but there's nothing there. That means that this is a wall. And this also is wall, and this also is wall, and I already know this is a demi-vault. So what it is there's going to be a thing of breakable rock all around here, and also another thing of breakable rock all around here, and these are 3 kind of tiny separate rooms. There is nothing here that scares me. This is really easy for me to take. This guy can do stun. It's a bit annoying, but should be able to manage it easily. Just Frostbolt deals with him without any problems. Right, this guy that just popped up is annoying. He's got pass wall and he's fast. And he also drains my dexterity. I do need to teleport away because I don't have enough speed. I need to pop a potion of speed, heal myself, see where I am, go back, and hopefully bait him. Oh, I found a Wand of Teleport Other. I can cast it, but the fail rate is 4%. I'm actually going to use this. I'm going to use it right now. There's another unique that I want to keep alive. Okay, I'm going to teleport away again. The Quasit, the guy that I ran away from, is going to show up pretty soon because he can go through walls. Pass wall is when you can just, pass through the wall, and instead break wall is what the Umber Olk does. I tend to call him all pass wall. Just a bad habit that I picked up. I'm close enough. I wish I could map the area, but I can't. This vial only does light. It's the same as casting light. How many potions of speed do we have? I'm gonna waste another one. Potions of speed last for a certain amount of turns. Here he is. Monsters that pass through walls, they will almost always do this. They will approach you via wall, but they were one step away. They will come into the corridor. So I'm gonna hope it does that. I'm gonna press 5 to wait. There he goes. He hit me, but I've got 4% fail, and I could probably even take 2 full hits. He's gone. See, this is what I mean. He's not dead. He's on the other side of the map. But he's, at least for the time being, not really my problem anymore. Chances are he could still come back because they move kind of quickly and they do chase you. Gonna see if I can cast haste. I have 29% fail. If it fails, and it did, then it's a good idea to recover your mana. See, Vortex does stun, and they hit for quite a lot. Plasma is not a resistible object. When you are stunned, what the fuck is going on? Why are they not curing my stun? When you are stunned, ooh, Slay Demon, fantastic. We do want this. This thing that we found on its own is worth possibly more than an object. I only get resistance to cold as the additional bonus that the slays with that item do, but I do get +2 intelligence. Remember, I don't have a bonus to constitution. Sorry, I don't have a bonus to... What am I saying? I don't have any other forms of resist confusion. So it's not really easy to get rid of the battle axe, but you know, I'll manage. And when I do get stunned, my spell casting becomes worse. I mean, wisdom, do not need it. Chainmail resistance, we are just going to use this as money. I'm just going to sell it. Now, I must have managed to teleport to the closet quite far away in the map because he's not chasing me, or maybe he got stuck behind another monster. +2 strength. This also could be worth a good deal of money. Normal pick, I'm gonna put it on ignore, I do not need it. Shield of resistance, money. Ring of the dog, put it on ignore. Arrows, don't need them. See invisible, I don't need them. I'm an elf. Amulet, regeneration. You know, this could be better than Infravision. I'm actually going to use it. Throw away Infravision. I don't see anything here that does 5, and there we go. 5 is probably there. Because I was here, I teleported to the closet somewhere over there. Remember, we're past the middle line. If I go there, I'll have to deal with him again. It's going to cost me more potions of speed. I may just be able to get away with the with haste. I can kill this guy easily, this orc. He's worth 300 experience points. Remember that we killed a demon that was worth 4,000. I really just want to keep him alive to see if it drops anything better later on. Let's say I might be partial to killing this guy around dungeon level 40. If I see dungeon level 40. For the time being, I'm just going to use teleport other. And he's gone. Another decision is if I pick up this, which is a good bit of money, and I can always use money at this level, that's gonna slow me down. I can do it when I'm just about ready to leave the dungeon, but if I go here, I'll probably need to deal with the closet again. Then I'll need to come back here and deal with the closet again, because when I get there, I'm gonna teleport them away. So, bit of an annoyance. I will make up my mind once I see a little bit more what's happening here. Remember, this is a good way to pull mob. That is a good way to pull mobs. I think that's a potion on speed. Okay. Normally I don't play this slow or this safe. Oh, this place has traps. I know just by heart that this particular place has traps around, including those that can send me away from the level. I'll pick up this wand, try to identify it straight away. If there's any monsters left, there is. Really do not need it. Whoops. Ooh. Okay. So that blue potion has disappeared. That may have been what I was looking for. Why? Because it's in the middle. And things that are in the middle tend to be of better value than the ones that are around. If I look at the messages, let's see if I can search for something else, something specific. I press the equal symbol to find, and I look for the word pick, and I can see... I'm looking for the whatever giant picks up an object. No. Ring of Light. Absolutely garbage item. Normal axe. Slay Undead. It has, this will give me a bonus in wisdom. It has something that we haven't discovered yet. Now, as you remember, this scimitar has a randomly rolled bonus, like provides resistance to cold. While this one has provide resistance, protection from confusion. They can even have ESP. This one has old life. Not great, but, you know, not trash either. Ring of Strength. You know what? Ring of Strength is actually better than Ring of Acid because it will help me go up in speed. It will lower the amount of weight penalty that I'm having. I am going to leave the 6. The reason is that I already have this Slay Demon, which is fantastic for me. I am now going to, on top of that, put money. Remember we dropped a couple of things there? They are not really worth for me going picking up. That closet, which I sent away, is really a problem. They are dangerous and they are on their own, that's 7. Because they can pass through wall, they drain my dexterity, they hurt. They took 40 hit points from me, but that was one hit, and they move twice as fast as I do. So the best thing to do right now is to get out of here. And even though I didn't find what's potentially an artifact, I'm coming back with a lot of stuff, and I would rather be a winner and alive than being anything else but dead. I can sell this guy, bit of money, wear this and my spell points, bada bing, we'll go to 183. We had about 60 spell points just a short while before. Sell that one. We have a couple of armors that we want to sell. It's really not useful at the start to have these armors because they weigh 27 pounds. And also, as a mage, depending on how much strength you have, you will get a penalty based on the total sum of your armor weight. So really not a good idea to carry that stuff. Armor class does little or nothing. When you are a endgame character and you're a character that does fighting primarily, then yeah, okay, fine, do that. Actually, you know what? For the time being, I'm gonna sacrifice 5,000, which I now can easily afford, to go strength +3 instead of +2. And there we go. We are now just barely not overweight. Is there anything that I need to drop in here? No. We got one banishment. When we hit level 30, we can cast Word of Recall from this. We have 11 Scrolls of Deep Descent. We have this thing that gives me a bonus to strength, but now this can be easily sold because it's completely useless to me. And we have +2 intelligence from that one. I'd say this was a good shot. And now we're on dungeon level 31. I'm going to go back once again. I'm going to completely ignore this. Actually, I got a Rod of Restoration. I might as well use it. But my goal is to go down and get a little bit of experience point. Get these new 2 or 3 additional Deep Descent scrolls. We got a few mana, got a couple of healings, we can cast haste fairly well, maybe look for a Rod of Mapping, let's see, these are down to 3, and maybe stat potions, because why not, they are free. I'm on dungeon level 31. I am, really just exploring to see what I get. I did get an additional Deep Descent, but also I ran into the Kobold unique Mugashti Kobold Lord. So if I go to Monster Knowledge, there he is, Mugash, 26 points, and you normally find a dungeon level 7. This means that in theory, if you kill it at dungeon level 14 or deeper, or 15 or deeper, you get the most that you can get from this mob. But it doesn't 100% work like that, because even at dungeon level 14, the game is not really going to generate an artifact. So it's always better to leave them, if you can, at least until dungeon level 30. Therefore, you're going to get, even with a good object, good is, it's a decent starting point, I guess, but it's unlikely. There's about 1,000 chance that you'll get the an artifact out of this. At least that's what the maintainer told me. The word maintainer means developer. For some reason, that's what they use in the community. But in practice, actually, there's a pretty high chance, if you keep him alive until 30, that you'll get something worthy of note from him. And in this case, he did drop something, and he dropped this magical necklace. Let's look and see what it does. +5 strength and immunity to cold. And also, again, +2 stealth. This is what I was saying before when I say stealth is something that's both useful and useless at the same time. You don't need to look for stealth. It will be there as a minor add-on to a lot of items that you find. I'm currently using regeneration. It's much better to put this on, and now I can carry whatever I want. And also immunity to cold, that is going to be useful both in the short term and in the long term. The reason is that resistance to cold, immunity to cold, prevents your potions from being destroyed. And we did say we want to stack up on potions. Specifically, we want to stack up on potions of mana. That way, if when we go down, we, in a certain way, don't really worry that much about failing the spell, because we can just pop an additional mana potion and have extra mana. This is a dropped item, and therefore I have not actually found whatever is the 6 in here. I do not have any potions of enlightenment, so I'm not in position to just see what's on the dungeon. I'm going to kill this amulet of regeneration. I will look further, see if I find anything else. It could well be this misty potion. It would not be a potion of stat increase. A potion of stat increase on dungeon level 30 or lower would not give me a 6. They would give me a 4 and maybe a 5 if I find 2 of them. So. And I found it. I teleported to the other side of the map. I found an object. It is a robe, plus 24. I already know what this is without needing to identify it. It's a very deep object. It's actually really good for your run. The first thing is this ties back to something we discussed a lot earlier on about the slings of Buckland. Slings of Buckland happen very rarely, and they happen very deep down in the dungeon. However, because of the way the game works, the basic sling is an object that happens very often. And therefore, whenever the game wants to roll an item that's basically junk, it will very likely create a sling. But also, every time the game creates that sling, it doesn't need to do additional checks to see if that sling is better than just a basic sling. And therefore, you will get more often a sling that's extraordinary just because more slings are being generated. Now, I've seen this one before. I really can tell you that this is very likely a robe of the one that protects you from everything. It gives you the 4 basic element, 1 additional random element, and also sustains everything that you've got. So it doesn't allow you to have your stats drained. And permanence, I think permanence, there we go, permanence, okay. Once again we get sound as the additional 1. The fact that it sustains my life force and all stats, it is excellent as an item when you're starting out as a character. And the additional advantages of the robe is that it is both extremely light. Not only is it only 2 pounds, but it allows me to remove this shield of resistance and get an empty slot in case I want to put in something else. Then there's also something that we've already said before, but I just want to hammer on with it. It is unfair for me to do a run and to say, hey, you know, this is how I win. I win because I find a Robe of Permanence, or I find a Potion of Experience very earlier on, or I find otherwise something that is out of depth. However, the reality is that while I can never tell you you should do what I do, go into dungeon and find a Robe of Permanence, you should go down into dungeon and expect to find something that is out of depth. Now, I cannot cover all of the combinations of what exists as out of depth. That's something that you kind of need to, acquire the long-term experience. But, for example, if you find a Robe of Permanence, you now know that you've got all your basic resists, and you do not have to worry about anything that drains stats anymore. You're also really not going to have any weight problems to do that. If you find a Sling of Buckland, well, then you know that you can just buy basic shots and kill the vast majority of mobs up to like dungeon level 40 just by using that sling. If you find the Bow of Lothlorien, you can do the same with arrows. If you find a Wand of Annihilation, you can use that to take down uniques, which otherwise you couldn't really kill, and so on. To go through all of the late game objects is kind of pointless because we are pretty shortly going to be in the end game. And when you do this, you will spend very little time. As you see, very little time, just a few hours, even with the videos where I'm just talking and going really slow, to set up the character. Then you jump to end game, and even if you die there, well, okay, it's been fun, and it really didn't take a lot. It's something that you can do in a lazy afternoon, and eventually you will succeed, or more realistically, you will almost always succeed. You very rarely lose. And then you'll be spending a lot of time in the end game, which until now you have not been doing. You've been spending in the dungeon, like dungeon level 50, dungeon level 70, and you keep dying because the game is designed to kill you that way. To, make you go through those levels where you don't yet have the best gear, but you're already fighting a ton of stuff. So let's completely avoid that part of the middle game. There also, it's very important to understand that from dungeon level 65, you start to get a lot of undead. A lot. They drain your XP. If you don't have hold life, you're up shit's creek. If you don't have resist nether, there's no way that you're going to survive. They have pass wall, and they are generally really, really nasty monsters that don't really give you a lot back. So you want to do as much as you can to try to avoid that and get to where the actually good stuff is. And we're almost nearly there. So I'm gonna wear my robe, throw away some stuff, maybe do once again dungeon level 1 to 5 to get the additional deep dive scrolls that I've got. Keep in mind that if I was playing this, I wouldn't go because all that we have is this intelligence. I would just go around dungeon level 35 maybe and get a bit more stuff. Maybe get another, 3 points of constitution, 4 points of strength, see what else comes my way. I'm not in a hurry whatsoever. So we'll do that. We'll see what happens later on. That's it for now. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.